Hey everybody, Mark Medina here from IGN, and you're probably wondering, where's Lee Ross and where's Call of Duty? Well, unfortunately, he got a tad bit delayed, so it looks like it's going to be another 15 or so minutes until he can get here. I was going to try to jump into the game and try to play it by myself, but I tried that and I didn't do very well because this new mode is actually really, really hard. So we're actually going to wait for Lee to get here. Like I said, it should be another 15 or so minutes. So we'll be right back, and then just stick around, and we're going to definitely play this final Call of Duty map, and just come with questions, because Lee's here to answer any questions you may have. So we'll see you in a bit. Just stick around. What is going on, everybody? Mark Medina here, back as promised with Lee Ross from Infinity Ward. How you doing, Lee?
Doing fantastic. Ready to show off the beast from beyond and probably get slayed by cryptids.
So if you've been following this past year, this is your 4th or 5th time we've had you here.
Yes.
You were here for Zombies, and then which was initial launch, and then you've been back for every single film in the Zombies saga, we'll call it.
I like that.
And so now we're back for Beasts from the what's this one called?
The Beast from Beyond. You were so close.
Beasts from the Beyond. I was gonna say that, but I figured I'd rather trail off than say the wrong thing. And this is so like instantly I'm noticing that I'm starting off with a real gun.
Yes, so you're starting off with the OSA, and this is all a false sense of security. So starting off with this gun, you're gonna feel like, oh man, look, I have this awesome weapon.
Yeah.
Until you see the cryptids. And then all of a sudden you realize this is pretty much a fly swatter and you're swinging at dragonflies. So what I would recommend to everyone who's watching the stream today is hold your ground. You don't want to run off. These aren't zombies. These guys aren't going to come after you slowly and carefully. They're going to move up on you really, really quick. As you can see, they're up on us already. And once you have enough cash, you want to get out of this space quickly and try and get the power restored. The power is what will stop the flow of cryptids, and we'll start getting us some zombies into the space here.
Okay, yeah. So I was playing this by myself earlier. I don't even think I got past round 2.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on here.
I'm coming.
I'm going to show you a slightly safer place for us to head.
We're already doing better than I've ever done in this map. But I wanted to let the audience know that you're here for more than just playing this map. You're here to answer any questions about pretty much any of Infinite Warfare Zombies mode.
Yes.
This is going to be the last time for a while that we're going to have you here promoting a new Zombies.
Yeah.
So, like, he's here. Ask him questions.
This is the one.
This is the one.
Yeah, so we announced some cool things on our initial launch stream this week. We announced the fact that we have been working towards the super Easter egg that we've had players sort of scraping the surface of, so to speak, over the last year or so, starting off with Zombies in Spaceland. But of course, the journey doesn't end there. There's a lot more waiting for fans. And we hope everybody's buckled in, because this is not going to be easy.
So tell me about what this past, I would say year, but obviously you guys have been working on this game for a while. What's this whole, like, this time been like working on Infinite Warfare? Like this is kind of like, you know, you're putting your final stamp on it. We're done. How's that feel?
This feels amazing. You know, this is the culmination of, you know, a lot of people, myself and all of my team working on this, pouring all of our best efforts into creating an experience that, you know, stays true to the Zombies experience that Treyarch helped launch initially, but then also introducing new mechanics along the way, things like the Afterlife Arcade, things like cartoon cinematics, being able to you know, remove and replace your perks, adding downloadable content weapons back into the older maps. You know, it's really been a pleasure being as close to the community as I have been, which is probably one of the greatest experiences I've had working on a game, was really hearing what fans think about your product and then being able to be agile enough to incorporate that feedback directly into the game.
Well, what's great, and it's something I forget about, is the first time you were here for Zombies in Spaceland, so almost a year ago, I remember I asked you, like, okay, so let me follow you on Twitter, and you didn't have one. Like, you just did not have a Twitter. And now you have a Twitter that's got 20, 30,000 followers, tons of people following you now.
I don't know why it happened, honestly.
I don't know how it happened either. This past year, I think I gained, I don't know, maybe 700 followers. But you, I think it's how active you are. I always see you on there with your sunglasses emojis and you're teasing people about what's coming.
Yeah, I think that's part of the fun, was, like I said, was sort of interacting with the community and spreading those teases out all year long, kind of talking about the things that we had been working on while we were working on those things. It's sort of the forefront of what I wish development was like when I was a little kid. You know, when I was playing Super Nintendo or NES, what would it have been like to talk to developers and say, hey, if you would have changed this one part, I would have liked your game a little bit more. Or, hey, I really like that thing you did. Can we see more of that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
That's the kind of experience that I'm hoping to bring to fans that have been playing Zombies Infinite Warfare for this past year. So I am active on Twitter. If you have questions, concerns, you just want to rage and complain at me, I'm there. I'm a big boy and I can take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love the feedback, and we love and it's not even just me, Mark. It's my whole team. I have from my audio team to the effects team to the character team to the design team. Everybody seems to love to get out there and talk to the community. It's been a lot of fun.
Have you guys had a big party yet?
We want to wrap, but as I kind of teased in our live stream earlier this week, we want to give one more thing away. We're going to give one more piece of content before we wrap this season up, and that's something that we'll have coming probably in October.
Okay.
So right around then is when we'll rest. So it is a long process. We grind out these DLCs pretty quick, but then maintaining them and adding new content to support the product once it's out in the wild takes quite a bit of effort. So yeah, we've got more to come, and stay tuned because I can't get enough of giving stuff away.
As everyone can see, we're already starting over.
Oh yes.
It doesn't help that we're talking, but we're going to keep talking because that's what we're here to do. It also doesn't help that Lee made this one real hard.
Yes. This is actually the thought process behind this was we've trained you. We've trained you through Zombies in Spaceland all the way up to Attack of the Radioactive Thing. And this is really throwing the kitchen sink at players. It's also forcing players to play a little bit differently. So you'll notice that normally in Zombies, the minute you open up a space, you want to run around and kind of train the zombies around. With the cryptids, you have to approach them much differently. You want to be defensive, not offensive with them. While yes, you do want to kill them, you also want to make sure you have your back up against the wall, make sure they're not spawning behind you, to the side of you, because they can get to you really, really fast. So this is something where we're causing our fans to stop and think a little bit. We did that with the Krogs in Attack of the Radioactive Thing, where they'd swipe at you, and if you paid attention, their claws would get stuck in the ground, and then ultimately you could just melee them in the back and take them out really easily. So we're making players put their thinking caps on a little bit here, and the zombies are a much different entity to face, and the cryptids are, because they're different and they're armored and they're fast, it really poses a challenge for players that are used to the slow-moving undead.
So, something I've noticed so far is that I don't think I've yet to see a zombie.
Yeah, so we would have. That last round, we had just gotten the facility's AI back in functioning order, and so that is Neil. Neil has come back from Spaceland. He's a little bit smarter now. He's got a few more tricks up his sleeve, but he also is the one who flooded this place with the alien cryptid. So is Neil good? Is Neil bad? Players will have to stick around to find out.
Just a quick note, everyone. What's up? I'm Mitchell.
Hey,
Mitchell's
here.
I'm doing some live stream producing, and I'm also going to be the conduit between you guys and Lee Ross. So, Lee, we got a question that everyone in the chat is screaming about.
Oh my God!
They need to know, what's the deal with the figures?
The figures.
The figures.
Well,
Specifically,
first,
Lee, can you give us a clue about the hidden figures that you have to shoot on the Venom Z step?
Catch me up real quick. And anybody
also, they're
else
looking to upgrade the Venom X. So the Venom X is one of the weapons that we reintroduced from Extinction. It is highly effective against the cryptids. You actually use cryptid eggs to refill it, and when you shoot it, it blasts out a sort of gaseous area of effect. And yes, you can upgrade it. It can be upgraded, but not by traditional means. So I think that's what they're talking about today. I don't want to give away Easter egg steps today, guys. I know as much as you'd love for me to say, hey, this is exactly what you do, but we do want to leave it to discovery for fans out there. So do pay attention to the symbols that you see around the map. I'll give you that. The symbols can be located in different places around the map, and I'll give you one hint at one. I'm going to make my way over to that area now. This room right here. Inside that room, and I can't stay there looking there long because I've got nasty cryptids on me, but you want to take a look in that room. There's something good in there to find. And we are down.
Yeah, so if you haven't been following along this past year, you know that he's not here to tell you everything about the new map. You won't even tell me stuff. There's been very many questions I've had, and you don't even tell me.
Yes.
We want people to figure it out because I'll just tell everyone.
So as much as I'd like to give it away, that's the hint. So keep an eye on the symbols that appear. There will be one that you can find in that particular space, so keep your eye on that area.
I think you guys should just make some David Lynch-style trailers pointing to clues for the Easter egg.
Yes. yes. And
Sure.
we kind of like to hide things in plain sight. So sometimes it might even be in the starting area. You never know. So keep your eyes peeled.
Let's talk about a game that I've played before. It's a PS4 launch game. It's called Call of Duty Ghosts, which you worked on.
Yes.
And it had a mode called Extinction. Now we're playing a map called Extinction with some alien dudes. What's going on? Why are we back?
So the reason why we're back here is actually we've sort of set the stage for this, leading all the way back to Zombies in Spaceland, where we had an arcade machine featured in the arcade called Cryptid Attack, of all things, right?
Oh, okay.
And then slowly but surely, we've been seeding the idea that the cryptids are featured within this universe. Now, Willard Wyler, who we're hearing talk over us here,
Yep.
this demented director has been around for about 40 years making films. When you've been around that long, you've probably created quite a few horrific things in the horror genre. And Willard is definitely no slouch when it comes to creating horrific things. And you guys have seen that, whether it's the slasher from Raven the Redwoods, played by Kevin Smith, or if it's the giant Krogzilla that you see in Attack of the Radioactive Thing. So the idea is that Willard has created both of these universes. And in our story, we've actually been told that no one has made it this far. This is the furthest that any team of 4 has ever made it in this journey that Willard has sent these 4 heroes on. And so, yeah, this is the melding of 2 terrific horror genres, some aliens and some zombies. And Mark, we better get out of this room because it is about to get crazy.
Coming! Let me ask you a question. It's 40 years from now. We're both, 60, okay? Shit, right.
I love how young you just made me. I just love it.
And somebody wants to check out Infinite Warfare Zombies. Where are we starting? Where are you starting them? Are you starting them on Zombies in Spaceland?
Yeah, I would think
work their way through.
I would think so. I think you would start with that experience and sort of learn the ropes and sort of figure out the basic gameplay of how the map flows, how the sort of all the mechanics that we're introducing along the way. If you've played Extinction, you already have an advantage for players coming in now because you know the different types of attacks that the different cryptids have. You sort of know their range of motion, how fast they can jump and leap to you, or how fast they can run to you.
Okay.
What your time is in between being able to reload and then having something swiping at your face. So definitely advantage having that. But I would think that you could jump around in any order because the way it's sort of assembled is almost very Pulp Fiction-like, which I just watched that movie the other night for the 50th time.
It's my favorite movie.
It's very Pulp Fiction-like where you don't know where the beginning and the end and the middle of the film is until the very end, and it's like, oh, okay, now I can see where it ends. This must be the beginning. So that's sort of the way we're doing the storytelling here, where you're not really sure where it begins and where it ends, but by the time players have gone through the full experience of Beast from Beyond, and then ultimately through our super Easter egg, the director's cut, they'll actually get to find out what's going on, who's pulling the strings, and why Willard has pulled us into this amazing journey.
Awesome. What do we got for questions, Mitch?
A lot of people are talking about the Skull Arcade game where they can't shoot when they go down.
Oh, guys, we are aware of it. We are tracking that bug now. It is actually already fixed, and we'll have something out for you guys within the next 24 to 48 hours. Apologies. Anytime we break the game, we feel bad. So please hold on to your cards. Don't spend them for now. We have a fix coming in, like I said, in just a couple of days.
Cool. There you go. Guys, if you have any questions that you need to get answered, the chat moves really fast. Sometimes it's hard for me to see it. The best way to get your question read on camera is to tweet us using the hashtag IGNPlaysLive. That's hashtag IGNPlaysLive to ask a question. Lee Ross and Mark.
Hi. So what? I'm just gonna ask. Why is this so hard? What are you doing to me?
Well, like I said, this was the, think of all the other maps sort of as the training ground for preparing players for something that was going to be really challenging. Now, had we introduced this map right out of the gate, instead of Zombies in Spaceland, they would have said, "Oh my goodness, how do we possibly fare in surviving this?" Well, the cryptids we knew were going to be a very, very difficult thing to face. And like I said, we've seeded this idea that they were coming. but we wanted to give players time to sort of learn how to move in this experience of zombies. You know, we have some open training areas, we have some really claustrophobic spaces, and you're going to be able to use these all to your advantage. Now, it might seem really illogical to take cryptids into tight spaces, but think about it. They have to slow down to turn corners to get up onto these ledges, and so any little time that you can slow them down, you're giving yourself a huge advantage.
I noticed when they come around that corner, they kind of like have to stop and kind of readjust where they're going, and so that's I've noticed that's what I'm kind of.
I'm going to go ahead and get our facilities AI head, Mr. Neil's head here.
Jesus, no!
See if I can get back to him before they get to me.
All right, I took like 7 of them down. So, you know.
You make it look so easy, Mark.
I know. On my face. So. Let's talk to future Call of Duty developers. Future Zombies developers in particular. What advice do you think you would give? You've got how many maps under your belt now?
Yeah.
What advice do you think you would give to, let's say the next people looking to make some Call of Duty Zombies maps?
Well, shout out to Sledgehammer Games. Those guys have an amazing game on their hands, and they have quite a bit of experience doing this as well. My advice would be to listen to the community, stay engaged with what's going on, and be agile enough to sometimes know you've got to alter things. You know, when we first released Zombies in Spaceland, the initial I'd say the first half of the audience maybe couldn't beat the Alien Gray. And that was something that we were really disappointed by. We wanted more players to be able to have at that experience. So we wound up nerfing that experience just a little bit.
Oh, cool.
So I think building the ramp up of engagement, we want this really hard experience, but at the same time, we want to have that engagement sort of have a ramp of, it starts off at a difficulty setting where you can pull in as many people as you possibly can, and then slowly ramp your experience throughout the season. But definitely stay engaged, listen, and don't be afraid to try crazy things. We've done some things in this particular iteration of Zombies that initially made people sort of scratch their head and go, why are they doing that? And then ultimately they saw how all of these things pieced together and became a cohesive experience. So, yeah, I think that's it, is stay engaged, listen, and be prepared to be wrong sometimes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, guys, we got a Twitter question. It does work. If you tweet at us using the hashtag IGNPlaysLive, I will read your question. So this is from @Goggles, and he wants to know: are the scouts the only cryptid type that we're going to be seeing?
Absolutely not.
Oh boy.
Absolutely not.
That's just as far as we can get.
So Mark, what I'd recommend is once we open that second door, I want you to come back to this room, and that station where we're going to place the head, if you hang out right by it, once I collect it, you can install it immediately. And then once
where would that be?
So
over
directly
here?
right in front of you.
This guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
But come back up here while we do this first little section. And then when we see the experience pop, you'll see it'll say 50 XP for finishing that particular scene. That's when we'll have a little bit of breathing room so that we can move around through the space, reload, unlock doors, all that kind of stuff.
Oh no. I reloaded at a terrible time.
All right, I'm going to get the first door open.
You want me to just hang out here?
You can follow me through this first door, but to the second door, I'm going to have you swing back, U-turn right back to that location.
Oh no. Oh no. Get away from me.
I'll cover your back while you're coming towards me if you got anybody behind you. And just a couple of reminders is that your grenades restock, guys, so don't be afraid to throw and chuck your grenades. Mark, you're pretty close to having the cache. You can open this door for me, and then you'll head right back over to that location.
To the beginning area?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, Lee, we got a lot of people talking about the Entangler. They want some tips on how to get it. If it's one of those Easter egg related questions, I will defer to our policy
Mark,
of no more Easter egg clues.
Actually, that one I'd be okay to answer. So I don't want to tell you exactly how to get the Entangler, but what I will tell you is it is a skill-based challenge. This is one that will actually require you to really be able to aim your weapon well and keep yourself alive. Oh, Mark, it looks like you're down.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if I can get to you.
Oh no. Oh, I do not know how you got past that guy.
Man. Just watching this reminds me of playing Destiny 2 right now, and like all the dogs that rush you.
So let's be real. I've been playing a lot of Destiny 2, and when I jumped into this, I had these dogs jumping at me, and I just threw a grenade because I was meaning to melee them. And it's like, Mitch, are you jumping on with us at all?
I don't think so because I would have to redeem the code.
That's fine.
I don't have it.
See if I can.
We're gonna mess around with some cards here.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna swap this. That to my starting card.
Also, I see a lot of people that don't quite understand. They're putting in the YouTube comments hashtag IGN Plays Live. You have to tweet at us using that hashtag in order for it to actually be useful.
An attempt was made.
I appreciate the attempts.
So I have seen a lot of people asking stuff on Twitter and also the Undead Reddit subreddit. So if you guys are curious about stuff about the Director's Cut content, please fire questions over to Mitchell, Mark, and myself, and I'll be happy to answer those. I know there's a ton of information that we dropped on you guys about it this week, so if there's any soft spots that you'd like me to fill in, please let us know.
Feeling good. Feeling good about this round.
I must admit,
We're gonna do good.
this old man.
So, Lee, I have a question.
Yes.
I know you follow the community scene, pretty closely. Have you been keeping up on the progress of people on this map so far, and are people close to solving the final Easter egg?
Yeah, I have actually. There's a great subreddit that I've been following that they're sort of crowdsourcing the Easter egg, which is something that we always see. A couple of people will figure out one thing, a couple of people will figure out another, and they're using that page to sort of fill in all the missing plot points that they're trying to figure out. So, yeah, there is quite a few places that we've been looking and keep an eye on. We're also looking for bugs and things that we might have brought into the community accidentally that we can address and fix up. But yeah, there's been myself, my team, and I'm pretty sure if they're not watching this live stream, they're watching somebody's live stream right now playing and watching to see what type of techniques or how people are solving some of the challenges that we're presenting them.
Great.
Is that something you find yourself doing once you get released the DLC? Is like jumping into Twitch streams and just watching people stream it?
Oh, absolutely.
See where we're at.
Absolutely. It's also wanting to see how people play the experience. When we play test each of these games, all the DLC, one of the things that winds up happening is that we play it very differently than the way other people play. And so it's really awesome to jump in and see people come up with new approaches, new ways to attack the content.
That's
always
learn
fun.
Stuff from them?
Oh, absolutely. There's been things that I've thought were the tried and true ways to have the best possible user experience, and then next thing I know, I watch somebody else play and I go, I never thought of that, and now I have a new strategy and a way to attack a specific challenge.
Okay, so
yes, we even learn from the community too. Yes.
Good.
So Mark, if you can make it back to that room.
I'm back at the. Oh my gosh!
It looks like I can maybe get the head on. Let's see if I can get this.
I got back to the room, but then we got wrecked.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a strategy. We can do this.
Yes, it is absolutely doable. Absolutely doable.
This is doable.
All right. In the meantime, all of my begging to post some Twitter questions has led to some fruitful results. I'm going to go rapid fire. So
do it.
We got SJV03 on Twitter wants to know, what are some tips for solo players doing Easter eggs themselves on all maps?
Ooh, on all maps. That's a big one. I would say take your time. One of the things that people like to do is sort of run out and just blast zombies in the face. You want to, if at all possible, leave that last zombie alive and use him so that you can open up spaces within the area and use some of those Fate and Fortune cards that are useful to giving you more cash. Scope dollars and Eagle-Eyed are great examples of picking up an N1 and getting extra cash for your kills right away at the start of, say, Zombies in Spaceland is a great way to earn extra cash, and that will help you open up the spaces earlier. You also want to know by what round do you really want to be, in sort of your quest to finish one of those Easter eggs. So if you're at round, say, 30 and you're just starting an Easter egg, you probably started a little too late, and things can be much more difficult the longer that you go into them. So try to start those Easter eggs as soon as you possibly can, and there's no shame in looking up some of the YouTubers and some of the guys who are putting strategy guides up. These guys are spending hours upon hours playing the game and helping solve some of these more tougher questions. So by all means, if you need some help, reach out there and grab it from the community.
I love this idea of somebody got to round 30 by themselves, and they're like, I'm going to start looking for Easter eggs now.
It happens.
Like you're on round 30.
It happens.
All right, this isn't a question. It's a comment from Lapis Lucas 001. Can you tell Lee Ross his Zombies is better than Black Ops 3?
Oh, thank you so much. We couldn't have done it without Treyarch. Treyarch is the sort of the godfather of the Zombies experience, and so we appreciate them bringing Zombies to the table, and of course, allowing us the ability to work on this portion of Call of Duty.
I've played so much Zombies in Black Ops 2. Man.
Oh,
it's so fun.
Treyarch knows what they're doing. They know how to make a great, cohesive Zombies experience. They've proven that time and time again, whether it was the beginnings of World at War or all the way through to Black Ops 3. Those guys are the kings, and so we've done our best to live up to the standards that Treyarch has set before us. And hopefully we've pushed that ladder just up a rung or two, and maybe Treyarch will step up their game even more than we did, and fans are really in for a treat, because when we, as developers, sort of challenge each other, the only person who really wins is the consumer.
How excited are you to jump into, when it's out on November 4th, to jump into World War II's, Zombies?
Oh, super excited. Super excited. I mean, I've had the luxury of working for Activision and getting sort of behind the scenes and being able to play all their content and see things way ahead of time. But at the same time, I'm excited for a brand new experience. And I think that's one of the wonderful luxuries that Activision has, having multiple studios work on a single project, is that you have the ability for us to sort of have these little divergences from how we think the experience should be. So even looking at Infinite Warfare, how the campaign and multiplayer were sort of a non-boots-on-the-ground experience. You were running on walls, you were double jumping. Our experience of Zombies was we wanted to put you back on the ground and sort of take away all those abilities of running around and flying around and keep it a more traditional Zombies experience. With what we've seen from
I guess
World
that's true. Like Infinite Warfare, the Zombies mode, because it's like Advanced Warfare and then Black Ops 3 are both, their Zombies mode is very like still rockets and stuff like that. I guess I never really thought about the fact that Infinite Warfare is all about that until you get to Zombies.
Exactly.
Then it's,
and that was really
boots on the ground.
That was important for us, was to have a contrast from the other two modes, campaign and multiplayer. When you got into Zombies, we wanted you to feel like you were getting another game, like it was a completely different experience. So that was really important for us. And I think that's something that happens with each iteration of Call of Duty Zombies, whether it's Treyarch taking the lead or it's Infinity Ward or Sledgehammer presenting their version of what they think Zombies is. There's always room for some amount of change that you say, wow, I don't feel like I'm in Kansas anymore.
Do you ever think we'll eventually see a standalone Zombies game come out in this kind of style? Or do you prefer it kind of packaged with the Call of Duty, experience,
Well, the way I look at it is, I'm a gamer, and I'm a gamer first before I'm a game developer. And as a gamer, I love the fact that Call of Duty has so much content packed into one game. I mean, it really truly is 3 unique experiences, whether you're into campaign, whether you're into multiplayer, or something cooperative and you just want to shoot zombies in the face. It is really a rather comprehensive package that they have going for themselves. Now, do I think Zombies could be a standalone thing? It's possible, but again, you begin to take away from, I think, the branding and value of Call of Duty as a whole if you were to take Zombies and place it into its own experience. So
they've definitely built this trifecta.
Yes.
Multiplayer, single player, Zombies.
Yes.
That seems to be the winning formula that they figured out.
Yeah, I mean, having a single player experience, having a multiplayer experience that's competitive, and then having a multiplayer experience that's cooperative, you're really checking off all the tick boxes there. I mean, you're really hitting everything. So having all of that content and then going away from that and saying, well, we're just going to give you Zombies, I think it would be a very challenging thing. Not to say it could never be done, but I do think the value proposition of what Activision has delivered with Call of Duty as it stands now, it's head and shoulders above all the other competition.
All right, Lee, I got a series of yes, no, maybe questions for you.
Oh boy.
So, is there anything special with the trap in the theater?
There's always something special with the traps. Traps always do something cool besides just obliterate zombies and cryptids and whatever else we're throwing at it today.
Will the Director's Cut be available for Xbox One too?
Director's Cut, absolutely. It will be available for Xbox players, PC players, and of course PS4. PS4 is going to be kicking off Obviously, they're getting the content first, but Director's Cut is available in all the modes.
Will your next game have zombies in it?
Can't say yet, but if fans keep receiving the game as well as they have thus far, there's a good chance that something undead could be in our next game. You never can tell.
Is Ripley going to be a special guest character in the new DLC?
No, Ellen Ripley will not be featured in DLC 4. However, The Beast from Beyond is inspired directly by films like Alien, obviously, and Aliens. Sort of having that badass chick lead the charge. Sally is our badass chick that's going to be doing that for us here in The Beast from Beyond. And you will see other sort of references to the layout and design to how we've set the facility up to sort of look like something that you would have seen in Event Horizon or Alien or Aliens or any of those other Ridley Scott films. So definitely there's some reference, but sorry, Ellen Ripley's not along for the ride.
Would you ever go back to a fully blown extinction mode if given the chance?
Absolutely. I mean, we loved creating Extinction. It was one of our sort of beginnings as creating a combative, cooperative mode. But Zombies is a whole lot of fun. There is a very engaged audience that there's some things that we've done in Zombies that I don't know we would have necessarily done in Extinction had we stayed with Extinction. For instance, the sort of over-the-top humor and craziness that we've been able to introduce through all of the episodes, I think would have been missed if we would have made a purely Extinction-based experience. That's not to say that we wouldn't have knocked it out of the park, because I think we could have, but it would have been a very different experience.
Cool. And then I have one last question that I really like and I'm really curious about. What was the decision to start the player off with the OSA? Were there other weapons considered for this?
Yeah, so we've played with that this whole season. We've wanted to take players out of their comfort zone. Raven the Redwoods is a perfect example where we put players into the cabin area and all they had was their fists, and it was a race to find, the machete or to find the axe or the golf club.
Right.
I think it's something that it kind of keeps players on their toes. And in this particular instance, the OSA, as powerful of a weapon as this is that you might see in the campaign or see this in multiplayer, this is really not very powerful against cryptids. As you can see, we're having quite a bit of difficulty holding them off. And so this is the starting pistol experience. It just happens to look like an assault rifle.
Yeah, it totally made me think at first. I'm like, yeah, we get a cool machine gun. And then we're just dying over it.
Yeah.
How did you expect today was going to go?
Yeah, I wanted this sort of false sense of security that the OSA delivers, which is, you see it, you feel like you're in good hands with it, and then before you know it, you see a couple of cryptids, and you just lay into them, but they don't die. They don't die. I think that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun to sort of play with players' emotions a little bit. All right, Mark, if you want to head back to that area, I'm gonna go grab the head real quick.
All right, I'm gonna chill in the starting area.
Should have it in about 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you can put his head on.
Okay.
And now we just need to survive this last round.
Oh no! Oh no! It's so hard. Closest we've gotten.
Yeah, he got me.
It's so hard!
Yeah, so really the strat at that point is once we end that round, we want to make sure that I'm close enough to the head and you're close enough to Neil so that we can drop that.
So what does that do when I put the head in?
So what it's going to do is it's going to restore the AI protocols for the facility. So Neil will sort of come out of lockdown mode.
Does it get rid of the cryptids?
It will get rid of the cryptids and it will start spawning zombies for us. So you have this really intense moment.
Okay.
And what we were shooting for here.
If I see cryptids, should I still just run and just try to make that happen?
I would say don't run and try to make it happen. If you see cryptids, kill the cryptids, try to take a defensive position, and only move up as you have the accessibility to move forward.
Okay. I didn't know it would get rid of them. So when you activated it, I had kind of ran away from it to kind of set up on the rafters.
So if we
I should try to just stay there.
If we take turns, turns opening doors. So at this first area, I'll open the first door. You get the second door, and as soon as you get that second door, stay in that area.
Okay.
And then we'll end that round. We should be at the second round of cryptids by then, and then I can have you sprint and take off towards that little spot.
And
then
easier once we activate Neil.
Yes.
Okay.
So we wanted to really, like I said, it's meant to be high intensity right out of the gate.
Oh no, we're gonna make this happen.
We're gonna do it.
We're gonna do this.
We're definitely gonna do it.
I'd love to. Yeah, I want people to see more.
I ran a couple of public matches last night with a couple of fans, and it took us, I'd say, about 3 attempts with 4 players, and before we knew it, I had people hooting and hollering and cheering. Finally, we got the head on it in zombies. And it's really such a great feeling once you sort of get past this roadblock of the cryptids. It's almost like solving an Easter egg without having to do much other than figure out how to fight them. This is an important lesson because what we're giving you later is a lot tougher than these little tiny baby cryptids here. All right, I've got the cash to open the first door.
All right, I got the cash to open the second door. So let's
do
this.
If we can do it,
the game
this round
like,
here, this will be good for us.
The game just throws me off. There's this other like tiny little game that came out last week. I think made by Activision.
Let's hold this area here.
It's called Destiny, and it's man, it plays different. And so I've been playing that so much that Call of Duty is like it's so 60 frames.
Yes, but you know what? Destiny 60 frames on PC, man. I think that's going to be a game changer.
I played the PC beta, and I was like, this is. But you know what? That game runs great on PS4. Like
30 frames, 60 frames, it doesn't matter. That's a fantastic game.
Yeah. Have you been playing it?
Oh man, I must have poured maybe 1,500 hours into Destiny 1.
Yeah.
I played the beta probably more than I should have because I had a lot of work to do. But yeah, it's a fantastic game. Cannot wait for the retail DLC content to start dropping and really see what Destiny has to offer.
Yeah, it seems like we all beat it fairly quickly, and now it's kind of a light level grind. Raid comes out tomorrow. We'll be streaming that here, right here.
Well, not here. Destin will be streaming it at the comfort of his own home.
Come here to this Twitch channel.
Yes, that is correct.
Maybe not this room, but come to our Twitch channel. We're going to be streaming.
Think I can get to you?
I got questions at the ready, by the way. Just let me know when you
Go for it.
want me to.
All right, let's get this door.
Let me open
Mark, you head over to the head area.
Going.
All right, so Zegsul wants to know, how difficult was it planning the story for zombies this season?
I'm ready when you are.
Oh, it was super challenging. What we wanted to do is tell a story that sort of came to light across all the episodes. We didn't want to give too much information too fast.
Did I do it?
I think you might have gotten it on.
I see Neil. Yeah.
But we've got to finish this last round of cryptids now. That's the trick.
Oh, I see. Sorry to interrupt the question.
So yeah, as far as story content went, yeah, we also have to make sure we're paying close attention to the stuff that we introduce in earlier parts of the episode. So it's making sure we're paying attention to where the spiderweb sort of connects to everything, and we've left lots of little details throughout the entire season, whether it's in the player-to-player conversation that happens that we introduced in Spaceland, where the characters sort of have small little banter conversations as they make progression through the quest and the story there. The memory charms that we introduced in Raven the Redwoods that talk about Willard, his daughter, his wife, his son-in-law, all of the various characters that he sort of worked with over the years that have impacted his capability to make the films. There's been lots and lots of content like that. And then, of course, we last left off with Attack of the Radioactive Thing, where Elvira sort of helps piece together the fact that those 4 celebrities all came into this together at one point, and they all worked together at one point, and ultimately ended up in these films trapped here. And now they're sort of working behind the scenes, either with or against Willard. We're not exactly sure. But by the time you get to the end of the director's cut content, players will know exactly what's going on.
Is there any way to prevent that round 3 from happening?
Yes. So that last cryptid, when I was picking you up, don't kill him.
Got it.
Yep. So then that way we just have the last cryptid.
So then we can open the door.
We can open the door. Exactly.
Get it, and you can just kind of kite him around.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then once we kill him and that head is on, the next round that spawns, we'll just have zombies. And that's really your goal. For those of you guys that are doing it in cooperative, you really want to shoot for having it done by about scene 3. If you go any longer than that, obviously zombies' health go up per round. So if you're starting off at scene 3, they're relatively weak. But if you can survive to, say, scene 5, and that's when you're getting the power on, it just means you're fighting scene 5 level zombies, so their health is a little bit more.
All right, we got a bunch of people asking about the Ghost and Skull machine and if you get a reward for completing all of them.
Oh, Ghosts and Skulls, do you get a reward? Well, we give you rewards for playing Ghosts and Skulls. For those of you that have completed those difficult challenges, you get a perkaholic for the time being. But it's really completing the main Easter egg quest where we're giving you the true reward. So for those of you that have been able to get through the main Easter egg quests and you've collected a soul key, having those 5 soul keys are going to reward you with some really great goodies, and you might have seen what those goodies are like if you've done Ghosts and Skulls prior. So definitely pay attention to what you're getting in Ghosts and Skulls. They might be translating over to Director's Cut.
Cool.
Try to give me a heads up when you think we're about.
Well, you can come up and open this door if you'd like, and stay with me, and then we should be able to split. Once we get down to that last one, I'll have you run him off away.
Man, it seems really hard to just leave one alive. You have to constantly move super quick.
It's really hard to keep myself alive.
Oh, you're not
That's
looking so good, hot stuff.
XD
All right, get that
Ryan-
door open. Get that door open.
Okay.
XD Ryan T on Twitter says, "Can you please nerf cryptids in the beginning rounds?"
Okay.
No, we cannot, but we would love for you to be able to complete it and feel confident that you can, and I promise it is doable. Mark and I are going to prove that today.
Are we?
We
I
are
just
gonna
went
do it.
down.
We're going to do it.
All right, there's like 2 or 3.
Holy shit, it's Neil.
Oh, but I went down. Is it not going to revive me? Or is
We
it gonna-
got just, you should be right in the spot you need to be in. Just stay there.
I'm crawling.
Stay there. I might be able to get, don't worry about coming to life. I'm going to put Neil's head on,
Okay.
and then we're going to get this last cryptid. You can kill that last cryptid now if you see him in your line of sight
There's
there.
2. I got. Okay. Got him.
And we did it.
Woo! That's how you do it.
Now, Mark, how are you actually feeling about doing that, though? I mean, we had to work
That's
for
tough.
that. It's tough, but we did it. We did it. Scene 3, and
How
guess
long
what?
have we been streaming already?
The cryptids are no more. So now we're going to start working on opening other parts of the facility. We're going to start working on trying to figure out exactly how to restore all the functions of the facility. For those of you that have been playing and listening to the stuff that Neil is saying, he's basically saying this place has gone to hell, and we need to restore all the security protocols and get this place functioning properly again. So everybody wanted zombies. Here they are.
We
What's
saw
a zombies game
guys.
without zombies, right?
They're here. Whoa, what is this? Oh, it's a trap. Okay. That's looking dude right there.
Pun intended. It's a cool trap.
Oh, look at that.
We got a question from Sora101 then on YouTube. Hey Lee, is Director's Cut activated by some code, or is it switched on or off like an option?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. So Director's Cut is actually unlocked by returning the 5 soul keys to the Pack-a-Punch room. Once you have all 5 soul keys, return them to the Pack-a-Punch room and you'll be able to automatically unlock Director's Cut. Now, keep in mind, if you want the traditional experience and you don't want to play Director's Cut, we do have a toggle in the front end that you can turn it off so that you can play the more traditional zombies experience should you desire.
What exactly? Like, what are some of the most notable changes from Director's Cut?
So Director's Cut, one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to start the players off with quite a few goodies that they didn't have before. So as an example, you'll be able to earn the ability to have the Perkaholic, or being able to have the fuses double pack-a-punched in Zombies in Spaceland, or starting off with lots of extra cash so that you can get to places early on that you couldn't to before. So the idea is that some of those Easter eggs have been really hard and difficult to beat.
Yeah.
The Director's Cut's going to sort of make superhero characters.
Okay.
So if we were playing together,
celebration mode.
yeah, if we were playing together and I were in Director's Cut and you weren't, some of these things that we're doing now would be slightly less challenging because you'd have some of these goodies like, for instance, starting with a wonder weapon perhaps, or having some extra cash and being able to open those doors up rather than having to earn the cash to open them up. It definitely allows for further exploration, and because you've got all those goodies, it means things are going to be just slightly less difficult for you. Now, we don't want to separate the player population, so of course, Director's Cut players and non-Director's Cut players all play together. There are some extra goodies though. We have hidden some extra Easter eggs for those people that want to
Shocker.
keep exactly.
I'm shocked.
People that want to keep hunting in Director's Cut, there's some extra goodies for you there. And then of course, if you really want to see the finale to this whole thing, you're going to have to go through Director's Cut.
Oh, I see.
And it's sort of like, you know, the way movies work, and we wanted to stay true to the way movies work. So when a movie comes out in the theater, you sort of get the vanilla version of that film.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it comes to home video. You get it for Blu-ray or Ultra HD or whatever your format of choice is. And then you have extra stuff. You have deleted scenes. You have director's commentary. You have all the little things that they cut from the original edit of the film. And that's kind of the idea of what the director's cut is. And we teased this actually way back in Rave in the Redwoods. If you were paying attention to the story that was going on with Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes coming into the film, ultimately those characters brought some extra footage to Willard Wyler upon their discovery in hopes to remaster some of his films. And of course, Willard took that stuff and said, you know what, I'm going to remaster your souls into my movie.
Interesting. Remember when I was younger, I got the director's 4-disc version of the movie Titanic. And man, those are some good special features.
Oh, look at that little astronaut there.
Lame pun intended.
So this seems more like a zombies.
Always
map.
one of these.
Yes.
I'm outside, I'm in a town now.
Yes, so now we're actually at the theater that Willard has been teasing us with this entire time.
Okay.
We're actually able to...
It's kind of a mess.
I'm going to actually run a little bit in the theater here, and we can see that this place is dilapidated. It's sort of... it's not the pristine location you'd think that this prestigious 40-year directing guy would be running here, but then considering that he's collecting people's souls, I'm not too terribly surprised. Now, the other thing that's happening here is you'll notice that there's sort of a hodgepodge of all these different zombie types that we have here. So you'll notice that there are zombies that look like they come from the 70s or from the 50s or from the 80s or the 90s. And that's because coming into the theater, you've now opened up this sort of portal that allows all of the films to pour into this film. So all of the worst things that were hiding behind the celluloid in Rave in the Redwoods or Shaolin Shuffle or Attack has now made it into this film with you. So things like the exploding clowns or those nasty teleporting kung fu zombies are back, and they're here to cause lots of trouble.
Oh, look at this. Yeah, we're in an arcade.
So the arcade, this is the place that we see our heroes first initially come into in our intro cinematic for Zombies in Spaceland. And they arrive in the beginning of it in their limousine hearse, but things don't look so peachy out here. Things look like this is probably bad news, right?
So
Not a city I'd want to spend any time in.
yeah, it's kind of on fire.
So we're seeing that the Afterlife Arcade, where Willard resides, really is not too hot of a place after all. So we're gonna uncover what's going on here with the Afterlife Arcade,
No.
and why we're merging these two worlds together. And there they are, everyone's favorite teleporting zombies.
Yeah, one teleported and
Oh, he got you, and
got my face.
I should have used my scorching skin right there. Mitchell, how are we doing on the questions?
We're doing good. We got another question from Unused Wings on Twitter. How far into the future do you plan on supporting Infinite Warfare / Zombies?
Oh, well, we have quite a bit of content leading through September, and then obviously stuff dropping in October, as we mentioned, for Xbox and PC players, but then we have a few extra goodies that we're saving for just the bitter end. You should be able to see new content dripping into the game, leading all the way up until World War II. So right around when World War II comes out, we'll take the baton, hand it over to Sledgehammer, and let those guys sort of begin the trial and error of getting this whole experience right with the fans.
Yeah.
And then
They get to do the year that you just did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and
Are
then sorry.
I was just gonna are you gonna go on vacation? Are you gonna take a little bit of a break?
I think collectively the whole team is going to do just a little bit of that. We'll probably spend a little time in the sun since although we're in Southern California, we don't get to see much of that sun because we're inside cranking away at the content. But I'm sure everyone's ready for a little bit of a break, and then of course we'll put our thinking caps on and we'll get right back to it.
Cool. Sora 101 Ven once again has a question. Lee, when you are in director's cut mode, will the original main quest of the map change entirely, or will there be a separate quest?
That's a great question. So the main quests they're going to remain the same. However, the reward that you receive at the end of that quest is going to differ between director's cut players and non-director's cut players. So make sure you're paying attention to exactly what you're acquiring at the end of those episodes. In addition, like I mentioned before, there's going to be some extra content that director's cut players will be able to access that other players will not be able to access. So yeah, you have some extra goodies in there that are above and beyond the standard path for all the Easter eggs you've played thus far.
try to get back into some zombies. That was some good fun right there.
All right, so now we're going to come back over to that other door
We
again.
should be pros at this now, right?
Yep.
We're good? Good. Totally got
So
it.
just like before, we'll come over to the second door. We'll get them down to about 1 or 2 cryptids. And then
let me know when you want me to open the door.
Yeah, you come on up here so that way you're in a safe location.
I'm coming. Get away.
I'm going to hold off on the questions until you guys get through this part, because I don't want to distract you.
We're so good at this part. Oh boy. Oh boy. Coordinate some reloads.
Yes.
I bet this is a lot easier with 4 people.
Actually, for 4, we actually step up the difficulty a little bit since she's got a team. So we definitely want to step it up just a tad. All right, you can get that door open now.
Open.
And you're going to work your way towards the other side of Neil, and I'm going to go ahead and get his head.
Okay.
And if we die, next time around, we can
Nope.
we can try trading jobs here.
I think
What
we're
is
gonna make
Neil's head doing out here?
All right, you can kill
Got
those
him.
guys.
Got him. Still got these guys on me. I'm getting a good spot.
I can help you out. I'm coming up around to you
All
here.
right.
All right, we got it.
That was.
And see, once
What did I tell you?
once you figure out the strategy,
Yeah, that was good.
and now look at that, we're at scene 2, flipping into 3. It's like we're masters all of a sudden, and it just takes getting over that
Nope.
first hump.
It only took almost the whole stream.
Yes. You know, it's funny because players, at least on my Twitter, have been hammering me about how easy some of the maps have been, and so this was a direct
Here you go.
reaction to some of that feedback. Players were saying, hey, I've been playing Zombies since World at War, and everything you guys are creating is just it's kind of a cakewalk for me. Enjoying the content, but can we step up the difficulty a little bit? And we definitely wanted to do that. We wanted to be able to step up that difficulty. And for fans that think it's too hard, like I said, strategize a little bit differently than the way you fight the zombies in that first initial introduction to the cryptids. They're a very different type of enemy to fight, so it's really important that you don't try to take them on like zombies.
Man, I remember playing Zombies World at War. That was some good times.
Yes, it was so fun.
All right, we got another question from Zaxel.
Let it fly.
Is there any other movie genres you wished you got to visit in this season?
Oh, romantic comedy. Honestly, I think we touched on a lot of different stuff throughout the season. I think we hit all of the stuff that we were aiming for when we first started out. We wanted to hit sort of the key horror genres, the locations that are sort of the staples of horror films, those locales. Are there other things that we would have wanted to do? Yeah, I think doing something like a haunted house would have been really fun. But ultimately, the content that we created is the stuff that won out for reasons of, we really believed in the vision, the idea, and we thought it was cohesive to the experience we were trying to create.
Let's say you can send what's that movie, The Lake House, where they send letters to different times.
Yes.
Let's say you're sending yourself a letter a year and a half ago.
Okay.
What would you tell yourself? Like, what you're in for? What tips would you do you wish you would have known a year and a half ago, even 2 years ago, that you know now that you wish you would have known?
Well, I definitely would say take social media seriously. I mean, some people get in there and just kind of clown around a bit, and some people just kind of stealthily come by and say, hey, your game sucks. And, I really like to engage those guys and say, hey, can you tell me why? What is it that you don't like so we can fix that? But I would have said, get involved in the social media stuff much, much sooner and really get engaged with the community. They know what they're looking for. And ultimately, even though we make zombies, we make this game for the community. We're making it for people to play the game. We're not making it for ourselves. So that's why I think it would be important for me to go back and say, you know what? Let's make sure we're listening to what people are saying. Give them the respect they deserve. They've purchased your product. Let's give them our all. Let's give them our best.
Grading. I like to think I'd have something to do with you getting on Twitter that day.
Oh man, Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, all the various locations that I stop by and hang out and sort of hear about the game have been absolutely influential in some of the design decisions that we've made throughout this season. So, keep at us, guys. Keep reminding us about the things that you love and remind us about the things that you don't love so much. because we're definitely paying attention.
Lawrence Gideon really wants me to ask you about the Yeti Eye. I don't know what that means.
Oh, the Yeti Eye. People have been wanting to know about that since Spaceland. I teased that from the very first live stream we ever did. So yes, the Yeti Easter egg, it can be completed, but you will need to be in Director's Cut mode. Now, obviously, for obvious reasons, I couldn't tell people way back in Zombies in Spaceland that there would be a Director's Cut mode coming. But that was something that I wanted to tease, that there was more to Spaceland than just what was at the surface. And when you get to revisit Spaceland or Rave in the Redwoods or Shaolin Shuffle or Attack the Radioactive Thing, you'll get a chance to see not only the Yeti Easter egg quest, but also some of the other things that we've been hiding in those maps for a long time.
I want to pull back the curtain. When did you know that this Extinction was going to be your last map? A year ago, or?
Yeah, this is something we didn't know what the map exactly was going to be. We sort of had the fact that we wanted to go into the future. We wanted to be able to tell a little bit more of the story with Extinction. You know, with Extinction, we left it with a huge cliffhanger with Samantha Cross ending up in space, ultimately showing that she sort of has been turned into the superhuman, that she's been spliced with the Extinction DNA. We wanted to tell a little bit more of that story. So knowing that was, you know, that took place sort of in the future, we knew we were going to be going to the far future. And since the game was, you know, the campaign and multiplayer touched so much space, we knew that there would be some kind of space involved. Now, our outro cutscene for Attack of the Radioactive Thing, we show players appearing in a spaceship, and ultimately you see sort of stars and a galaxy behind them, and we left them at that. Now, we wanted everyone to assume the fact that, oh, this meant that we were going to be fighting zombies in space, that we would be in space. And that's the thing that we strategically do all the time, is even though you think you know what we're going to do, we're going to go left instead of right. So ultimately, we're not fighting in space. We ended up on an ice planet, a secret facility on an ice planet. Yes, it is in outer space. It's not on Earth, but this isn't sort of flying TIE fighters and things like that along the Star Wars route or Star Trek ideas that people had.
Right,
So.
like I was surprised when I'm like, okay, so we're on a ship, that's fine. And then all of a sudden I'm just like in a town. And I'm like, oh, we're not in a ship.
Yeah, and we wanted to return back to the theater. That's something that we've always wanted to do with players, is bring them back to the theater. You know, it's actually pretty interesting when we see people go into the Afterlife Arcade, and you know, they're just wasting some time in there, and I see them go around and pick up some of the guns or the basketball and throw them at each other, and we know that means players wanted to get into that space and they wanted to shoot things. We knew that that was important to them, so we wanted to hold that back, sort of let you see it for a while, take a look at it, but know that you can't interact with it just yet. So now players get to run around through that theater. They do get to kill zombies in that space finally, and it's really an awesome thing to see people finally react to, oh man, I'm in the theater and I have a gun, this is awesome.
Now we're on this like ice.
Are you guys playing Dead Space 3?
Now we're like on this ice place.
That'll be questions for Michael and Glenn when they come in ultimately to talk about World War II zombies. Talk about how Dead Space influenced their designs for their zombies.
Oh, really?
Because Dead Space was a fantastic game those guys worked on, and I'm sure they're bringing some of that stuff to the table with their latest zombies.
Double the pleasure, Pumpkin.
Yeah, we played World War II obviously, and you know we had beta, and haven't seen much campaign. Haven't seen a lot of zombies though, so I'm very excited to see what that game.
I suppose there's no time to sort by caliber.
What we're gonna see from it.
Well, I had a blast playing the beta. I think they did a fantastic job. The war mode was just way beyond my expectations of what I thought was going to be dropping.
That seems to be like the takeaway.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, war mode's really cool.
You know, playing it at my office, you know, with just a couple of people is one thing, but playing and having full teams and the community playing with you was a totally different experience, and they absolutely made me believers in the mode. So I'm really excited to see what those guys have to do.
Any more questions, man?
Yeah, we got a couple more questions.
What do you got?
Abda Lunatic wants to know, why no Rave in the Redwoods, Bigfoot in Beast from Beyond?
Oh, that's a good question. You know, as threatening as those creatures were, one of the things that we wanted to do was try not to pin you so much. We already have the cryptids that can pin you pretty quickly, and they can get low and out of your sight. Also, when we were thinking about the most deadly creatures to bring from each episode, as deadly as those guys are, they're more of a ranged attack creature. Yes, they can get up on you and cause you trouble, but we thought the clowns really sort of set the tempo in Zombies in Spaceland as being just something to fear. And then obviously, the Kung Fu characters from Shaolin Shuffle, I still get people today saying, please, for the life of me, just nerf those things. But no, once you learn to deal with them, you feel better about your experience with them. I don't want players to feel like they need to run away from the horrors, but actually, it's like look under your bed and don't worry, the thing that's under there isn't going to get you. You're going to get it.
William Cole wants to know, Lee, what's your favorite horror movie? I feel like we talked about this in
I've been asked this before. So my favorite horror movie of all time is An American Werewolf in London. I love the humor to it, but I also love the fact that it is silhouetted in a sort of horror theme, but it's got its campy, its silliness. And if you had to ask me what my runner-up, and they trade places all the time, is going to be Shaun of the Dead. And if you didn't notice the fact that we poured humor into this and sort of mixed the horror and comedy genre together, it's a direct relation to my experiences with both of those films.
Shaun of the Dead, it's a horror movie.
Yes.
Okay, I've never seen it.
Shaun of the Dead is a fantastic film.
All right, guys, once again, that hashtag on Twitter is hashtag IGNPlaysLive. I would say we got about 10 more minutes or so.
Sure, yeah.
So, if you have any more questions, let us know.
Get them in now.
Get them in.
Then Lee's going to leave us forever.
No!
Forever.
I promise to come back. I promise. Any leaving is only temporary.
I'm going to look through the chat right now and see. I feel like we've asked you this before, Lee, and you've said that it's a very hard decision, but what's your favorite map?
Ooh, man, that is a tough one.
So that was actually going to be my final question.
Oh, dang, I stole it.
I've been thinking about that the entire time. Yeah, I wasn't going to let you leave without gracing us with the, I need to know.
Well,
you've got 5 maps now.
Yeah.
What's the one? I know you love all your children.
I love them all.
Blah blah blah.
Well, it depends on. I'll answer it this way. It really depends on the type of experience that I'm going for at the moment, and that's the thing that I like about what we were able to achieve with all 5 of these different experiences. If I'm looking for something that's more tense, more claustrophobic, I'm going to play this map, or I'm going to play Raven the Redwoods. If I'm looking for just high round events, I'm looking for good places to train and run around, I'm probably going to play something like Zombies in Spaceland or Shaolin Shuffle. If I had to say one for the sake of argument, I'm going to say Zombies in Spaceland only because that was the thing that birthed all these other experiences. We couldn't have gotten to Raven the Redwoods and Attack of the Radioactive Thing or Shaolin Shuffle or The Beast from Beyond without that first experience from Zombies in Spaceland. So I'll say Zombies in Spaceland, and merely because it's the melting pot that kicked off all the creativity for what we're going to do in these next episodes.
My turn. So my favorite setting, I would agree, probably Zombies in Spaceland. Just because I love that, theme park, arcadey rides. I love that stuff. I would say it's pretty closely followed by, I'd say maybe Raven the Redwoods. I love how dark it is, and just like kind of Michael Myers chasing you, Jason. I like that. As far as gameplay wise, I think I would pick Shaolin Shuffle.
Shaolin is, man,
I love the moves.
The Kung Fu is something else, isn't it? It really was a game changer for us. That one in particular was really close to my heart. As I mentioned in other streams before, I'm a kid born in New York City. I grew up during that time period. Late 70s, early 80s, getting a chance to sort of see New York go through that sort of crazy transformation from pictures from the 1920s depression of people, in bread and soup lines, so all of a sudden this hustling, bustling city with all this craziness, the city that never sleeps sort of thing.
Sure.
It was a lot of fun, but plus all the things that were going on during that time period. You had the craziness of all the blaxploitation films and the Kung Fu era stuff that was going on. Bruce Lee really helped champion during that period, so I would agree. Shaolin it's kind of tugging some heartstrings, man, and that's why I say it's so hard to answer which one is the best, because all of them, for different reasons, they all have their reasons why we love them. So
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think there was one, because then when I think about what was the last one? The radioactive thing. I think about like I remember the first thing I said when we sat in these chairs was like how much of like Fallout it reminded me.
Yes.
Of, how much I love Fallout and just like the sepia tone, like the kind of muted colors. Well, it starts black and white, and even when it becomes color, it's not colorful. You know, it's kind of muted, and I like that. It's been quite a ride. What's great about it though is I feel like even a year from now, people are going to be able to say exactly like name the maps. You know what I mean? Like it's not just like there's this map, there's this map, there's this map. Like they all have these like they all each kind of have their own like identities, and you remember something from each of them. Like, this one I'm going to remember the little Cryptarch guys.
Yeah.
Because they are mean. They are very hard.
Yeah, I definitely hope that is the case. I hope there are enemies or characters that people can remember or relate to from the experience and sort of hold on to those characters for some time. And I think games that you ultimately really love and enjoy always have sort of that thing, that character or those characters, those moments that make you go, oh yeah, that's why that was a great experience. So I hope people are able to find that and identify that in our endeavor with zombies.
This one doesn't have a celebrity attached to it, right?
Well, that's an interesting question because we actually have quite a few celebrities attached to this one. Pro tip was the fact that David Hasselhoff actually has always been the voice of Neil. So Neil is actually voiced by none other than the Hoff. So the Hoff is back portraying Neil, although he's a much more advanced version of Neil. We were sort of shooting for Mother or Hal, for those of you that have seen 2001 or Alien. An AI that sort of controls the facility, but ultimately realizes that it is smarter than the humans and therefore doesn't need them.
Definitely.
So yes, he's back. And then of course I mentioned earlier before that we wanted to continue that storytelling that we did in Extinction. And of course, we have the lovely Allie Hillis who's making her triumphant return to the fold of Infinity Ward, working on zombies with us as none other than Samantha Cross. So you will get to hear from Samantha Cross here in this Zombies experience. And then last but not least, we have the very, very talented Fred Tatasciore, known as the man, the voice with 1,000 voices this guy has. He is actually playing a few different characters. He's going to play some crewmen that'll help further the story of what actually happened here in the facility. And then he's also playing another character that we have yet to reveal because no one has actually seen that character yet.
Okay. And then of course you can't forget your main four characters.
Of course.
Fourth, third here.
Of course. So Sally, AJ, Poindexter, and Andre are back. And hopefully they get to figure out what's going on and maybe, just maybe, make their way home safely.
Yeah.
All right, I think I'm going to do 3 more quick questions to close this out. Skills X Silent on Twitter wants to know, will you remaster the Extinction maps? I love Mayday.
Oh man, that is something that we would absolutely love to do. But ultimately, we don't get to make those business decisions. That's something that's up to Activision. So if you guys really want us to make Extinction remastered, you got to let everybody know. Get on Twitter, get on YouTube, just make your posts and really, really pressure Activision, because when they come by and say, hey, by the way, we need you to make Extinction remastered, we won't be complaining.
I like this question. Lapis Lucas 001 wants to know, will Lee Ross ever be playable in Zombies?
If I was, I would be underpowered and you'd probably die really fast. So I don't think that's a great choice. But who knows?
People find you in this map? You've been kind of popping up,
The team is always hidden, and you're definitely going to see our ugly mugs around here somewhere. My ugly mug is hidden somewhere in this place. I won't say where, but yeah, you'll definitely get a chance to see me somewhere.
All right. And
you may not like what you find, though.
Oh, Lord.
And then one last question from Fresh Lee on YouTube. Did Treyarch encourage the ideas of Easter eggs on IW Zombies, or is it a fresh start? Is IW Easter eggs more similar to Ghost or Treyarch, or maybe both?
That's a great question. Honestly, this is an I'm dead. This is an Infinity Ward. This is an Infinity Ward endeavor. While we might have taken some of the template of what Treyarch has done, this experience was built by Infinity Ward. We didn't have any assistance from Treyarch, and I actually get that a lot of times where people like it and they go, "Oh, you guys must have had Treyarch help you on this one because you guys got this one right." But no, we are all a family. We all work for Activision. You know, like I mentioned earlier, there's that sort of that competitiveness that we love to push. But this was something that Infinity Ward made from scratch. This is a press start, and really we wanted to build on what Treyarch had built with the very first iteration of Zombies all the way up to Black Ops 3. So build upon that, but of course expand upon that experience, bringing new things like the Afterlife Arcade, or being able to, you know, swap out your perks, or the fact that the game doesn't ever load, you know, things like that. So it's just us. It's just IW making this.
Are you, we're putting our stamp here. This is it. Like, are you happy with what you've put out this past year?
Oh man, this has been a dream come true. Yeah. This turned out better than we could have expected. A lot of the things that we thought we couldn't do, we were able to do, and then take it up another level. Awesome. People at the studio got really passionate about the content we were making, whether it was the designers working on it or it was tech support that we needed. Things like going into rave mode and having 2 alternate versions of the world was actually a really challenging experience. You know, people don't realize we only have so much memory we can load all this content in, and having 2 full texture sets of a full giant world is actually quite a bit of memory that we have to deal with. You know, having this last experience where we're able to pull all these various zombie types, have 2 completely different texture sets with dealing with the theater, dealing with the facility, and then also keep in mind we actually have to change the skyboxes and all these things. So it's like having 2 maps all in one. And how we pull it off, it's done by the amazing engineers and tech support that we get at Infinity Ward to help bring this experience to life.
It's not just you.
No, it's not just me. I promise. I don't snap a finger and something happens.
It just works. Well, Lee, it's been great having you.
It has been my pleasure.
Not just today, all year. This has been. I always look forward to the email. Hey, well, I always look forward to the announcement. Hey, we're about to release the new Call of Duty map, and I'm like, oh. That means Lee's coming by.
Yeah.
And I always let Mitchell know. I'm like, hey, just so you know, it's about to happen. So this is DLC 4 Retribution. Comes with Zombies, Beast of the Beyond, 4 new multiplayer maps out on PS4 right now. Soon PC and Xbox One. Is there anything else you want to say to the IGN audience before we sign it off here?
I would just like to say thank you guys so much for your support throughout the year. It has been an amazing experience. Keep the feedback coming to us. We love to hear what you guys have to say. And once again, thank you so much for sticking around. You season pass holders, special shout out to you guys. We have something really extra special waiting at the end for you guys. So once again, thank you so much.
Awesome. Lee, it's been a great year.
My brother.
Thank you all for watching. Hopefully everyone's caught all the streams. If not, they're on IGN's YouTube or .com somewhere. You can find them. And there's a lot more to come with Call of Duty. We got November 4th. We got Call of Duty World War II coming out.
Oh, it's coming.
There's so much to look out for. So for all the announcements, gameplay, more live streams, you guys know where to keep it. Where are we going to keep it, Lee?
Right here on IGN, baby.